Support for Up First Winter Games comes from NPR sponsor Allianz Travel Insurance. Get ready to give ordinary the cold shoulder with protection for adventures that give you the best kind of chills. Learn more at allianztravelinsurance.com.
They call him the Quad God, and that's because Team USA men's figure skater Ilia Malinin can do something on skates that no one has done in competition before. 4.5 full rotations in the air before landing on a blade barely 1/8 of an inch wide. Now, some call it magic, and it may look like that, but it's actually a master class in physics. Here's our conversation with Emily Kwong, host of NPR's Shortwave podcast. All right, Emily, you host NPR's Shortwave podcast, the science podcast. So what are the physics behind the quad jump?
Let's start with some fundamentals.
All right.
The spin. Do you figure skate? Have you attempted a spin on ice?
No, but when I was a boy, I would be like Linda Carter and try to spin thinking I could turn into Wonder Woman and get some superpowers.
Maybe one day that will happen for you.
Is that the same kind of deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
All a spin is, it's a change of direction, and you need to create what's called angular momentum. Okay. Some people call it rotational momentum, and it's like related to the shape and mass of the skater and how fast they're moving about an axis. So if I were to spin in this chair,
you're gonna try it?
Right, I'm making rotational momentum, and I'm like the Earth spinning around its axis too.
Yeah, okay. So when the Earth spins on its axis, I mean, that's what we're talking about, exactly like that. Yep. That's what a skater is doing, essentially.
Yes, but first they need to generate something called torque.
Torque, what's torque?
Well, you have cars, I assume. Have you heard torque in that
One
sense?
or two.
Yeah, like in car land, it's like the force required to start the engine and that rotation. In physics, it's the force required to make something rotate. And for that, you need a lever. The longer, the better. So think about a wrench, right? Okay. The longer the wrench is, the easier it is to loosen the nut.
Yeah.
And the same applies for a skater. If you watch them as they go into a spin, their leg becomes their lever. It stretches out really far, a little off to the side before the spin, and then they generate that kick, that torque, which allows them to change direction and create that rotational momentum. And to show you this, here's a clip from my queen, Michelle Kwong, at the 1998 National Championships.
All right, let's watch.
So here she is. She goes, and you see her leg.
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's all the way out.
And then just the skill, the artistry, she makes it look so effortless. Watch her change directions with her other leg. See how the lever is creating the torque that allows her to spin?
Yeah. So does she speed up when she brings the leg in? It looks like that's kind of what's going on there.
Yes. Yeah. So artistic as it seems, there's physics at work. She is playing around with her moment of inertia. That just describes like how the mass of a skater is distributed relative to the axis of a spin. So when you pull your arms out really far, your moment of inertia is really big. But as Michelle draws her arms closer to her body, her mass gets concentrated at her center, and her moment of inertia shrinks. And then that's when her spinning accelerates. You can see her pulling in and pulling out to mess with her speed and create that beautiful choreography that she's known for.
That's always the exciting part when a skater is doing the spin, when they're out and it gets faster and faster and faster. It's just an amazing part of this whole thing.
And the sound, that's kind of my favorite part of the sport.
So how do they go then from spinning to jumping?
That's a whole other bag of chips because like the similar physics are at work. You got angular momentum, you got torque. But then the skater has to like somehow turn themselves into a projectile. Yeah. Like they're a ball and they're the quarterback. They're like hurling themselves in the air, right? So for that, like a gymnast, they need to generate upward velocity. Whatever vertical velocity they can create with the strength of their bodies is going to decide how high and how far they jump. And the moment they're airborne, they need to get themselves into that rotating position to complete as many rotations as possible. And that's where you hear like double axel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those terms. How do those terms come about?
It's like how many rotations they can complete. Okay. So our friend Ilia Malinin, the quad god.
I love that nickname
as he's called.
That's an amazing nickname too.
So how is he doing those 4.5 rotations, you ask? Let's watch him at the games where he made his mark, the 2022 International Skating Union Grand Prix. This is the first time, there you are.
So smooth,
a quad
but
axel
has to
was landed.
Be so difficult, right? I mean, it's got to be.
And he does 5 in this performance, in this free skate. It's astonishing. So you saw how he pulled his arms really tight. He made his moment of inertia as small as possible to give himself as many rotations in the air for the time he had up in the air.
And just to be clear, this is in competition too. It's not like it's in practice where you can make mistakes and you can fall, but he actually did it. Yeah.
He got one chance to do each of those 5 quads.
5 rotations.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Or to each of those 4. He got one chance to do
4 rotations, right?
4.5 rotations.
So how about this? 5. Is that something that's possible? Because if he can do 4.5, I mean, why not 5?
I love the ambition that you're bringing to this question. No skater has yet done a quintuple jump in competition. And I asked a scientist who studies biomechanics, who has looked at the movement of figure skaters since grad school, Deborah King at Ithaca College, about this. And she said, listen, unless there's some kind of rules change or some special equipment that comes along that makes skaters able to achieve extra special speed or strength on the ice, the human body has its limits. Like, you can only jump so high. The width of your shoulders are the width of your shoulders, so you can only make your moment of inertia so small and rotate as many times as is allowed in the air.
But I never, when I saw Usain Bolt run in the Summer Olympics and set those records, I never thought that what he did could be possible, yet he did it. So, I mean. And
look at what Simone Biles has done with the sport of gymnastics. And every generation with training can accomplish incredible things on just 1/8 of an inch of a blade.
I hope to live long enough to see all of these things, all these records get broken.
The quintuple axel.
Oh, can you believe? Or how about 6? Is there a word for that yet?
You're shooting.
I know, I'm too ambitious.
You're going too far.
I'll just keep it in the present. All right, Emily Kwong is the host of NPR's Shortwave podcast. Emily, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.